After 11 years, still one of the most common questions I get asked is, when am I going to leave China? I come to realise now that actually I've got no intention of leaving. And here are the 5 main reasons why. So safety is a huge factor here for me, and to be honest, that is the main reason I stay. The safety for myself and my family is great here. I've never experienced any issue at all in my whole 11 years. The only incident I've ever kind of heard of or been close to was between 2 foreign people here. So I've never seen or had any bad experiences with the safety. The environment is amazing. People will say, you know, it's a surveillance state and there's cameras everywhere and everything, but you definitely don't get that sensation when you're walking around. There's a lot of police presence around here, but again, not to the point where it feels uncomfortable like it does, for example, in some other bigger cities. It's more like they're just there to help you out. It doesn't feel like there's any pressure from it. So the feeling of safety here for both myself and my family, especially my children, is one of the key things that really keeps me in China. When I came back last time, my stomach was rumbling for some Chinese food, and I realised that's probably one of the biggest points I miss when I'm not in China. The food variety, the food quality, and just the flavours here are amazing. And like I said, kind of linked to the convenience. You can get all of it anytime, and it just is unbelievably tasty. It's nothing like you'd imagine. You know, for me anyway, when I grew up, Chinese food was your chicken fried rice and your sweet and sour pork, and they have that here, but the real Chinese food is out of this world. And definitely once you get here, I can guarantee will be one of the things you miss the most when you leave. One might be a little bit of a controversial one, and I would love to hear some input on it, but for me, living here with 2 young children, education is the final thing that makes me want to stay here a little bit longer. Let me explain why. I'm not saying that the Chinese system is perfect, and my daughter is in local school and it is definitely not perfect. There are some incredibly different points. The pressure is massive, the homework is extensive, even though she's only very, very young. And the environment, again, there's just lots of children in the class, and it's very high pressure for the children, so that's not great. That being said, I love the fact here that black is black, white is white, and there's very little confusion about some of the main points for children's education, which I love. And in my opinion, some of the things and some of the theories and some of the attitudes which are being kind of encouraged in the West are terrifying, and I would not put my daughters in that environment with the risk of being influenced by some of those points. Whereas here, many of the things have not kind of caught hold, which has meant that, in my opinion, the children are protected from many of the points, many of the ideologies, let's say, and it creates a safer environment, a more kind of just a better environment for education. So that is a big point for me, which is keeping me here longer term, potentially not into the more distant future, but definitely to get my children a more stable educational upbringing with kind of more stable ideologies. Convenience of living. So this again is not everything, but the majority of stuff here is ridiculously convenient. Everything's done on the phone, ordering things, paying for things, because everything is centralized. Again, I know people will kind of say that's a negative, but the reality of living with it is amazing. Incredibly straightforward to get out to restaurants, to book food, to get deliveries. Everything is done through WeChat, that's the main app here. and it just makes everything very, very simple. That being said, as a foreigner living here, sometimes there are definitely things which are not convenient. You know, often, especially for me, myself, with the style of name I have, it makes setting stuff up very tricky. And you know, I'm very fortunate that my wife is local and can do the majority of that for me. But you know, generally, the convenience of living here is fantastic, especially compared to where I was from in the UK. The cost of living here is incredible. I must say it has increased substantially since I've been here. That being said, when you compare it like for like in terms of this is a tier 1 city and an incredibly advanced city with a fantastic environment, the cost of living here is very, very good. Whether it's rentals, where you can get fantastic places for rent for very, very good money, or food, you know, electricity bills, water bills, things like that. It's just not as extreme as it is back at home. And you know, on a good wage out here, you can live very, very well. Let me know what you think of those reasons in the comments, and please subscribe for more content from China.